Kansas and Western fans. It's time for episode number 47 of the construction of the Kansas and Western HO scale model railroad. The last 2 weeks I was tasked with a couple of things. First of all, the pole results were to work on the Holcomb power plant, which I did do that. But I'm still working on doing the pour for the rail gorge route. So we're going to start down there, do a full tour, pause over there at the Holcomb power plant and discuss what I managed to accomplish there. And then finish off the tour before we start the pole for this weekend. All right, so first of all, you're going to see a lot of debris either around the river or on the upper level, and that's because I've kind of cleared the way of most of the trees along the highway here, all the cars, all the signs, just because if you saw my post last night, then you know I'm getting ready to finally do the river pour here. So I just kind of got a lot of things out of my way. I didn't get these out of the way because they're stuck in there pretty good. And I'm not going to knock those over, I don't think. So, but anyway, as you can see here, I've done quite a bit of scenery detail for the riverbed itself. I've got kind of the most recommended color, I guess, added for just the base color, and then done a lot more random rock additions. In several places, I've kind of reproduced, not necessarily a dam at all. And you can see there, I've got a little Mod Podge that still hasn't quite dried. So I'll probably touch that up with a little paint before I pour, or I might not pour in this area today. But I've added a lot of places where there's going to be rapids. So that's why you can see clumps of stone, I guess. You see some larger boulders here that have fallen into the river. And that's one thing, if you're not familiar with this area, which I'm sure many of you aren't, the road here on the right actually also sits next to cliffs, just like the railroad does. And so there's falling rock signs about every 3 miles for probably 20 miles. And so obviously I couldn't model that because that's in the aisle, but there's often rock slides and rock falls that fall onto the highway itself. And so those have to get removed. And so it's definitely a thing that rocks will actually fall into the river from either side. But anyway, as you can see here, I've gotten this whole river totally detailed, I think to my pleasure. I guess we'll find out once the water is in it. But that's pretty much what I've worked on here for the Royal Gorge route, just to try to get it ready for water, and I believe that it is, to my satisfaction at least. I did try some paint colors here. I still have yet to add grass here between these campsites. I'm not worried about doing that at all once the resin is in, because it does cure completely hard. So anything that falls on top of it will be easy to clean off. And then here I just have some old railroad ties for delineating the campsites, separating those out. So I just got a few of those laid out to see what that might look like. But anyway, once this video is posted today, got to get a couple things just to make sure I'm fully prepared. But otherwise, we're going to start the pour. And I'm doing a full series on the pour, step by step, because, well, to show you basically how it goes, but also because you guys are not going to get to see this scene until the river is completely done. So that could take a couple, 2-3 weeks. I'm not quite sure yet, because even once I get all the water up to the level that I want, I have to come back and add all the water effects, all the rapids, all the coloring. And so until I'm satisfied that the water looks as good as I want it to, you guys aren't going to see this scene. So anyway, moving on from there, we still have the rest of the layout to discuss. Here's some more of that debris that I was talking about, just getting campsite stuff out of the way, anything I might accidentally knock into the resin. So that's just kind of cluttering up this area. But here we have Canon City with Colorado Quarries here in the corner. And then the downtown part of Canon City with its train station. Still have to build that kit to finish out the downtown structures that I want to add. And then we have to build this highway / city street, which will be US 50 as it passes in here on this side of downtown. In reality, the station is not next to downtown. There's a number of commercial buildings between here and downtown, but I'm just going to bring this forward because I really wanted to have this downtown scene here. And my railroad, my rules, right? So the one thing I haven't yet decided for this corner, I know there's one of you out there that would really like me to represent the Canon City Prison, which is very close to the tracks and very close to downtown. I think I'm going to try to do that, and I haven't quite figured out how yet. I might integrate it as part of the backdrop in this area if I can figure out how to make that happen. But with this space here in the highway, I'm not sure I can add it just here in this corner where I've got this old house written. That's what I was going to do, is just put a house here on the corner. Not sure yet on that, still thinking about that. But anyway, lots else I could work on here. I'm going to add a heavy wooded area to kind of separate this scene from Portland cement here. And that would be this next part of the scene here. Just a lot of structure detail to work, and obviously ground covering. And that reminds me of something else I wanted to share with you guys. So if you notice on today's poll, or the comment that I put at the end of these videos to remind everybody the poll results are the Royal Gorge scene has been removed. And the reason for that is my goal that now that I've reached this stage for one scene on the layout is to get everything passably done before I call it good enough for now. And I'm not going to put a percentage on it because who knows how many more details I'm ever going to add to this. But I want to get every scene on the layout done at first glance. So if someone were to walk in here and didn't know anything about the railroad at all, I would want them to look at this and say, wow, that looks like it's done. And that's good enough for now. I want to get all the scenes on the railroad to that level. So until that is the case, once each scene has reached that level, I'm going to remove it from the poll so that we can focus on other areas that don't have backdrops, that don't have ballast, ground covering, don't even have all the structures in place yet. Like this portal area, I would want that to be done so those don't stand out like a sore thumb. So you're going to notice that start to pop up now that we're starting to get to that point on some scenes. Anyway, moving on. As I mentioned here, I want to get these portals integrated so you can't really see those. Just have some added scenery so that when you're looking at eye level, you can't see that there are portals. All right, moving on, just the workbench here. And then we come over here to Pueblo with the Evraz steel plant. Needs a backdrop. Obviously lots of track work to be done in terms of weathering and ballast. Still have to finish laying the track here, and I can't do that until this structure is complete. But once that is done and I get that track laid, all the track will be done in this area and powered. So just a lot of track work and scenery, a lot of ground area to cover, and lots of scrap piles to build, which will be fun. And then we transition over here to La Junta Yard. Basically a backdrop and a lot of track work to do. Still down here at this end, need to finish this highway bridge and work on this creek in this area. And over here to Lamar. Most of the structures are complete. I'm going to add a little bit more to this seed oil refinery yet. And some details for the rest of these structures need to be added, as well as a backdrop and track work. And over here to Holly. Still needs quite a bit of structure work done, but as you can see, the backdrop is in place. Got a good start on the ballast and track weathering, so I can just finish that. And we're going to add a highway here, highway crossing with some crossing signals. And then up here to Holcomb. So what I've got done on this scene, obviously, I think a lot of guys have seen the coal pile build. I still need to finish the end of that where it kind of transitions probably beyond this wooded area that's going to separate Holcomb Power from the Midwest PMS, this whole Garden City scene. But I don't want that to be as abrupt as it looks. I mean, I'm not going to actively try to drive front end loaders on that, but I want it to at least look like it's possible. Still got to do some more work on the coal pile. It's not quite finished, but I like how it's turned out so far and appreciate all the kind comments you guys have given about that. Here in the foreground, I've got all the ballast done for the scene on the main line here and then on the spurs. And then if anybody has noticed, and I'm sure many of you have, you'll notice that the main line does not have any cork roadbed here. And I'm not sure if I've addressed this or not, but this this part of the main line was never supposed to be visible when I originally planned this layout. This was all going to be hidden right up until this point somewhere. But that was back when I wasn't quite sure how this scene was going to develop. And it became, there was a lot of suggestions from you, the viewers, and just thinking about things in general, that it became much better to go ahead and remove all of the scene separation that I was going to have, because I was going to have the helix roof on top of this. It was just going to be another level of plywood that was going to cover all this. So, and on my helix, there's no cork underneath any of the track because there wasn't any need to do it. And so that's why there's no roadbed here. I've tried to hide that fact a little bit with adding the ballast a little bit wider than normal, but hopefully it doesn't stand out too bad. But anyway, decided to take the helix roof all the way back here and try to hide that as best I can, which from eye level, it's hidden quite well. And these trees aren't technically even installed yet. But anyway, that's why there's no cork on the main line here. For the power plant itself, I did finish this additional little section here. The plans typically call for it to carry out in line with this building. So it would have set out in this area. The way the spurs are laid out, there wasn't room for it. But I think another viewer suggested making a 90-degree turn like this, which works just fine. I'm not 100% sure I like it like that, just because it really kind of piles up the scene here in the middle. And I don't know if I care about that or not yet. So this is one of those situations where I've kind of set up the layout or a portion of it, and I'm just letting it sit before I do much else, because I want to see if I like the look, if I don't, if maybe there's an alternative. One alternative I thought of was maybe I can shorten this ductwork to make sure, or to make it possible for all this to fit. The way Waller's has built this kit, it's got an add-on from that building to the smokestack. In reality, the smokestack is not that close to the structure for the actual power plant. So perhaps I could just get rid of that feature. You know, I could cut off the base. So basically there's options, I think, that I could go ahead and make it fit in this scene. I'm just not sure if I want to do that. This is just one of those things I'm going to let sit for a while. So until I figure that out, I can't really do any ground covering in this whole interior area inside the tracks, because I'm not sure how that's going to fit. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put this substation, because originally it was going to go there where the rest of the structure is. And with that in place, that really limits where I can put this. So not sure yet how that's going to work. So that's just going to sit like that for now. Anyway, that's about all I got done for the Holcomb area. But I am liking how the scene is developing. All right, moving on with the rest of the tour here. There's our train from the intro. This is the Garden City area where I've got these two businesses that need to be built yet. I don't have any structure yet. For Midwest PMS, I still want to build this building here, where I'm guessing all the manufacturing takes place. This is a cattle feed business where they take liquid and probably grain and combine those into pucks, more or less, I think, for cattle. And then this is a chemical business called Helena Chemical, and I still need to build a structure for that, which I don't think you can really see one in this picture I have of the prototype, but there is one in there. And I do have kits for both of those. I just have to get those built. All right, wrapping around here to Charleston Elevator. Just yesterday, I placed the order so that I can rebuild this to make it look more like the prototype. I have the correct number of silos, but I wasn't paying attention, I guess, when I built them because there's gaps, or a gap here between the first set of 8 and then the second set of 10. And I want to try to reproduce this to the best of my ability because I think I can. It's not that complex of a prototype look. So we're going to try to do that. So I've gotten some new silos ordered so I can get this rebuilt. But beyond that, I still have to build a co-op office. And then there's a home and a dirt road, a county road, I think, that are right next to the elevator in reality that I want to try to reproduce. All right, moving on around the bend. I'm going to do a little lake rec area here in the foreground. A lot of trees to kind of mask the main line going behind. And then the Wichita Industrial Park. Lots of structure work to do here yet. And have some to finish, some roofs there. And then we transition into the Wichita rail yard on the BNSF side here. Still have to work on these silos, get those all tied together, get a roof put on them, a transfer house on the top. I'm going to probably redo this elevator itself. Maybe I can add a little more detail. And then obviously lots of track weathering and ballast to do in the yard. Did get a good start on that a couple of months ago. It was going well, so that will be no problem to continue that on down the end there. Now we got this highway bridge, still need to add stripes, get some weathering done on that. And Union Pacific side of the Wichita yard. Down here, these structure kits here are all going to get built, so I can kind of fill in this whole triangular portion, just trying to hide. This grain elevator works double duty as both matching the prototype, but also as a view block for both sides of the yard. So I want some more structure here in this triangle to kind of continue that. And that's all part of this Cargill business here at the end with this single spur. And we transition over to Wanda and reproduce this scene here in the background. And then to the elevator oil field. Still need to get a picture. I have a picture printed or saved of the scene that I'm trying to reproduce. But there's a place where the Highway 254 that this rail line parallels. It's crossed by Shumway Road. It's a dirt road. There's a house on one corner and this tank battery is on the other. So I'm going to try to reproduce that here. And then we do an abrupt transition to the El Dorado Industrial Park where we've got Mears Fertilizer here, which still needs a little bit of structure work. I just haven't decided exactly what yet. And BG Products and Barton Solvents here that are both next to each other, both on the layout and on the prototype. And then we have the other refinery, which still needs oodles and gobs of structure work. Trying to fill up basically this entire concrete area with refinery structures. And this kit itself, this is a chemical plant kit. This is only about 1/3 complete, so lots more to do just on that kit. And in the background here, we transition across the aisle in front of the breaker box to Union Tank Car Company. Primary structures are all in place here, so really just a backdrop needs to be put in and some track weathering and ballast. So that's the full tour. All right, we're going to open up the poles now. As I mentioned last night, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the pour for the Arkansas River there in Colorado. That's going to be ongoing, but since that's going to be do a little work and let dry for a while, I'm going to have plenty of time to work on another scene in the layout. So just include your comment, your vote for what part of the layout you'd like to see me focus on for the next 2 weeks. And we will get those tallied. The deadline is midnight this coming Sunday to get your vote in on the comments below. And then Monday night, I will produce a poll results and work plan video that will share the results of that poll and what I plan to get done to carry it out. But as you can see, or as I said before, this will be your last view of the Royal Gorge route for the layout until all the water is in place in the river. So super excited. Can't wait to share the results with you and the process. I thank everybody for all your kind comments, all your participation. Just leave your vote in the comment below if you care to participate, and we will see what we can get done. Thank everybody for your, thanks for watching. I guess that's it. We will see you. Have a great weekend.